This video deals with arrays in PHP. We have already seen that PHP has two types of arrays. One is indexed arrays and the next one is associative arrays. We all know that array stores multiple values in one single variable. But the main difference in scripting is that in C and all, array stores similar kind of values. An integer array stores all integers. A character array stores the characters. But in case arrays in PHP, it can contain scripting languages. The data type is dynamically determined, so arrays can contain a mix of integers or strings, whatever you like. Arrays in PHP are quite flexible. That is one advantage we have seen in the beginning of this module itself. They are flexible built-in data structures. It has two parts. Any array element has two parts, a key and a value. There are different types of arrays, indexed arrays and associative arrays or hashed arrays. Indexed arrays, the keys are non-negative integers and generally they start with 0 and they proceed further. In case of associative arrays, the keys are strings and the order of its elements is as per a system-designed hash function. The string keys can be people names or days of the week, etc. Whatever you like, you can give us a key. PHP arrays can have a mix. As you said, some elements can be integer or some can be keys. Similarly, the keys also can be a mix of integer or string keys. Values can be mix. Also, keys can be mix of different data types. Element need not be of the same type. That is an important difference between C and a scripting language. Now moving on to how to create arrays. There are two different ways to create an array in PHP. We can use the normal assignment operation by assigning the value subscripted variable like this $ARR. ARR is the name of the array, and by using a square bracket and giving the index value can assign a value. This means the first element, 0 is the starting index. The first element of this array is 17. If a $array was a scalar variable, now it will become an array. Suppose that if we give empty brackets, it will look into that array and it will take one greater than the largest existing index and it will store the value over there. Suppose that if an array has no elements, if we are not giving any index, it will take the 0th index to store the value. Otherwise, it will be storing the value in the next higher index. For example, here for ARR, I have already my value in 0th index. Now ARR of 1, I am storing a string here. Today is my birthday. And for a third value, I am just giving $array with a square bracket. I am not giving any index over here. So automatically 0 is filled, 1 is filled. Automatically it will take the value as 2. And it will again store a value 42 in the next index 2. The second method is using an array construct or array function. As parameters of the array function, we will be specifying the values or the keys as well as the values. These are different examples. First one, ARR1 equal to, use an array construct within simple brackets. You have to give the value. So this will be having in key 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. If you want to specify different keys, it can be specified using array construct. So here is ARR2, array2, array construct within brackets. You can give this key as well as value. This is the symbol used to relate between the key and the value, an equal to and a greater than symbol. So for 17, the key will be 1. Normally, if we don't specify this, the normal key will be 0. For 25, I am giving 3 as value. For 42, I am giving 5 as value. For 91, I am giving 7 as the index. So, these index can also be specified by the users. An array construct with empty parenthesis create an empty array. If you just want to keep an array container, I can just use the array construct. ARR3 array with bracket. This constructor will just create an array. Then we can create the hash or associative array by giving the key value pairs. Similar construct is used array with key and value like this. So this array will be containing 3 values with a specified key Joe, Dew and Jill. PHP arrays can be a mix of indexed or hashes that already we have mentioned. So you can give a key value like this. So it is again a key value. This is again a key value. So this can be a number also. So this is a normal index 3 and that can be specified here. So this is a mix of indexed arrays or hashes. Accessing arrays is similar to what we use in C and all, just using the array index value regardless of whether the key is a number or a hash. So $value equal to $array of array1 1. So this is the index value. This already we have stored values 0, 1, etc. So this will give the value 24 as output. Age is Dew. So Dew is one key which I have given here. So you can see here Dew 41. So the value it will be 41. The key I have used here is Dew and the value retrieved is 41. Similarly, array 4, 3, the value will be salt. Values can also be set or reset in the same manner, just access using array. Instead of 41, if I give it as 40, that will be saved. Another constructor which we use in arrays is the list constructor. This can be used to assign multiple elements of an array to scalar variables. You can just use the list construct to give these values of the array. Suppose I have an array $trees. Using array construct, I have 3 values awk, pine and binary. So using a list constructor, I have 3 values over here. I have declared as list inside list constructor. I am declaring 3 values hardwood, softwood and data structure equal to trees, $trees. So $trees is nothing but an array. So what happens is one by one the values from this array will be stored in the scalar variables. So $hardwood will get the value oak, $softwood get the value pine and $data structure will get the value binary. So each of the variables given will be retrieving the values from the array. That is the use of list construct. This is an example of using arrays. $cars, array of Volvo, BMW, Toyota, Echo, I like, cars of 0, cars of 1, cars of 2. This is a way to access the variables. So this will be, the output will be I like Volvo, BMW and Toyota. We can count the number of values in an array by using the count function or size of function. Both will be returning the length or current number of elements of the array. So here I have an array with 3 values Volvo, BMW and Toyota. So count within bracket you have to give the name of the array. The output will be 3 here. Our size of also does the same thing. So here I have an array with 1, 2, 3, 4 elements. So the output is equal to 4. You can use any of the looping statements to loop through the values of an array. So first take the count first understand the count number of elements in the array. So using that as the conditional checking statement, we can loop through the array and print the array elements one by one. So here is the example of printing this. Then unset function. We already have seen this in variable part. So unset can be used to unset any of the variables. Either it is a scalar or it is an array variable. So we can, if you directly give unset with a within bracket, if you give this as an array name, it will delete the whole array. Or if you specify a particular array name with an index, it will be deleting the array element. So unset $array2, this will delete the element with index 2. So 0, 1 and 2. So this will delete the element 6. And remaining elements will be 2, 4 and 8 with keys 0, 1 and 3. The key 2 as well as the element over there will be unset, or it will be removed. If you directly give unset $array, this entire elements of the array will be removed. So that is a function of unset construct. Now another inbuilt functions available are array keys and array values. These array keys and array values are used to extract the keys as well as values if we give an array as its parameters. Array keys will return the array of the keys. Again, the output will be an array. Array contain only the keys of the array. If it is a hash array, all the given keys will be retrieved into the first array. Array underscore values also returns another array which contain only the values. So you can see an example here, $days. This is an array which contains this is an associative array which contain A 10, B 20, C 30 as values. So this is the hash or index. This is the value. So how you extract it? You just have another variable equal to array underscore key. This is the function used, and within brackets just pass the array. So $days is the variable here. So this array is passed as a parameter, and this $keys will automatically become an array. The result of both these will be an array. And you can just use any for loop or for each loop to print the values of if you try to print the values of key, the keys will be A, B, C. So this is the output which is printed from the statement. So A, B and C are the keys given for the associative array, which is given as the input of array underscore key function. Next is array underscore values. It works similar to array underscore keys, just $val. So this will automatically become an array, and the output will be like this. It contains all the values 10, 20 and 30. So these functions can be used with arrays. If you want to check if a key exists, you can use the array underscore key underscore exist function. It takes two parameters, the key and the array name. You have to check whether the key is there in the array. So, and it returns either true or false. If key is there, it returns true. Otherwise, it will return false. $days array. Then I have an associative array here, and I'm going to check whether the key is there. And array underscore key underscore exists. I'm giving B as the key value and the name of the array, that is days. So if it is there, of course, the index B is there, so it will return true. The key exists part will work. If I give D as the value, it will not be existing. Then we have a function isArray to it will take a variable as the parameter and returns true if it is an array. So it will be helping you to check whether the given variable is an array or not. So I have an array again here, isArray $days. Of course, $days is an array, so it will be printing it is an array. Again, this is another very useful function. If you want to check if a particular value is there in array, you have a useful function in underscore array. It again takes two parameters. The first parameter is the value to be checked, and second parameter is the name of the array, and it again returns true or false. So if you want to search for a particular value in an array, you can use this. So in array, this is a format of using that. In array, within bracket, give the value and give the name of the array. So while searching through the array, so here is the value 10. So the value is in array. This is a very useful function for comparisons. Another two important functions are implode and explode functions. This can be used to convert an array into string and the reverse. So conversion between strings and arrays is possible between implode and explode functions. So sometimes you may get a question how the conversion between string and arrays happen. So first one, explode. You can, by name itself, you can understand an array is going to be exploded into different strings. So it explodes a string into substrings and return them in an array. So the first parameter is the delimiter for the split. So based on what condition? So I have a string here, $str. Sorry. Another two useful functions are implode and explode functions. They are used to convert between strings and arrays. So conversion between strings and arrays are possible with the implode and explode functions. First one, explode function. It explodes a string, that is, it splits a string into an array of the substrings. And based on what condition, we can specify the delimiter. Either it can be a space, or it can be a colon, or it can be comma, whatever the user wants. And the second parameter is the string, name of the string. Suppose that, for example, I have a string $str. April in Paris, Texas is nice. So this is the statement. If I want to split the statement, I can into different words, I can use space as the delimiter. So this is the name of the resultant array, $words. Explode function, the first parameter is the delimiter. So here I am using space as the delimiter. So $str. So this will be giving the string as the input string. So this will just make words as an array containing April in Paris, comma. So remember, as the space is the delimiter, Paris will be having output comma also along with this, and just print the words array. It will be displaying output like this. Suppose that if I give comma as the delimiter here, only two array elements will be there. April in Paris will be one element. Space Texas is nice, that will be another element. So it will, if we give comma as delimiter, it will just contain two values. So likewise, you can give any delimiter that you want. That is use of explode function. So it explodes a string into an array based on a given delimiter. Now implode function, of course, does the reverse of what is done by the explode. So if we give a separator character and an array, it will make the array back to a string with the given separator. Suppose I have an array, and if I want to make it a string, I can use the implode function. Implode function again takes two parameters. The first parameter is the delimiter, and the second parameter is the name of the array. So I had created the words array. I'm going to create it into a string. So this string will be like this. April in Paris, comma, Texas is nice. All this will be joined together using a colon. Here I am using colon. You can use space or comma or whatever you want. These are the functions of implode and explode, inbuilt functions. And now we'll look into how an array is stored in the memory. Array elements in PHP are stored as a linked list of cells. Each cell includes a key and value of the element. The cells themselves are stored in memory using a key hashing functions, and they are randomly distributed in a block of storage, and access to elements are implemented using hash functions. All the elements will have links that connect them in the order in which they have been created. So this allows you to access the keys in the order in which they have created if the keys are numbers. So this is the logical structure of array. Just understand this. Access based functions are there, key functions, then key value and the next parameter is there. So next will point to the next element in the array. We have different ways to access the array elements sequentially. So the next topic deals with the sequential access to array elements. Every array has an internal pointer that is used to keep track of the movements within an array. That is the current pointer. So this current pointer will be initialized to the very first element whenever the array is created. And it returns the element being referenced. So you can understand that initially the current will point to the first element of the array. So we can use a function called next function to just move on to the next element in the array and to display that. When it reaches the last element, it returns false as its value. So you can use this method to have sequential access to array elements. This is an example. I have a $names array which contains Bob, Fred, Alan and Bose. $n is equal to current names. So current will be of course pointing to Bob whenever this array is created. So $n contains value Bob. So I am just echoing that value, so this will give the output as Bob. Now just use a while loop, and while $n is equal to next $names. So next we'll move on to Fred. Next another iteration will move to Alan, and next iteration will move to Bose. And this will be echoed as output values. Finally, when it reaches the end of the array, it will be returning false. One issue occurs when you use the next is it includes an element with the value false. The loop will be ending there. But instead of this, the problem is that suppose if the element is false, then that loop will be stopping over there, thinking that the array end is reached. To solve this, we can use the each function, which returns a two-element array consisting of key and the value of the current element. So it will return false when it reaches the last element. So the keys of the two elements are key and value. The difference between each and next is that each will be returning the element being referenced by the current pointer and then moves that pointer. Next function first moves the current pointer and then returns the value. This is the difference between each and next function. Now we'll see how you access the array elements using each. Next also works fine if we don't have a value named false. If I have instead of Bose, if the value is false, then this will be a problem. If instead of this last element, if somewhere here you have a value called false, this will create a problem in case of next. So I'll be using each here. So $n is equal to current name, so that of course will retrieve Bob as the value, and then using a while statement and each construct each $. So after this is the current pointer, it moves to Fred, then to Alan and then to Bose. So this is how the output is there. So one thing is that it returns the key as well as value. So you can just print using the default value key and value. So just use the index as key and value. One by one you can print the value. So 0 Bob, 1 Fred, 2 Alan and 3 Bose. This is how you use the each construct, current and each. Previously you have learned current and next. The current pointer can also be moved backwards, and this can be done with the previous function, prev function. So prev is the reverse of what you have learned in next and each. it will be moving backward from the current location. Once you move forward with each and reach the final element, you can move backward using the previous function. The current pointer can be set to the first element. Suppose if you move to last and then again if you want to traverse from the beginning, you can move the current pointer from the last element to the first element by using a reset function. And this reset function returns the value of the first elements. And pointer can also be set to the last element by the end function. So how will you move the pointer to the beginning and end? By using a reset function, you can move to the beginning of an array. By using an end statement, you can move it to the end of an array. The key function, when given the name of an array, returns key of the current element. Suppose the pointer will be somewhere and the key function will be returning the key of that particular element. We'll see an example. I have the same array $names. $n is equal to end names. Of course, this will move the pointer. Currently, the pointer will be at Bob's. This function end will cause the pointer to move to the last location, that is Mo's. Key function will just retrieve the key of the particular element. So Bose, the key will be 3, 0, 1, 2, 1, 3. So 3 Bose. This will be the value returned here. Then previous will move the pointer backwards. So this will be moving here one previous function. So to Alan, again key will be returning the key and this will return the value. So one by one it will move to the previous location. We have another two functions, array underscore push and array underscore pop. They help you to use array like a stack. So how will you use array like a stack? Which functions enables you? Array underscore push and array underscore pop. You can easily remember this by using the keywords push and pop, which is commonly used with stacks. So array underscore push takes an array as its first parameter and you can have any subsequent parameters and those values will be placed at the end of the array. Those values will be added one by one to the end of the array and the return value will be the new number of elements in the array. Array underscore pop will do the reverse. It takes only the array as the parameter and it will take out the values one by one starting from the last element. The value null is returned when the array is empty. Here is an example for this. $names array with all the names mentioned. Array underscore push. Then give the name of the array and give the subsequent values which you want to add to the array. So 3 more elements will be added to the array here. Heb, will and goes. So if you try to print the value after the statement, it will contain goes, will, heb, Bose, Alan, Fred and Bob. So it is popping from the farther end, from the last element till the first element. You can see it is in the reverse order. So pop will be taking out the values from the last element onwards. And the most frequently used way in which we have sequential access to array element is the for each statement. Syntax we already have seen. It is designed to build loops that process the elements of an array. This is the syntax. It takes two forms, for each array as a variable. So this variable will contain the values. So this is generally used with indexed arrays, and for associative arrays this is the syntax for each. Remember, there is no space between for and each. Array as key equal to angle bracket value. So this value again contain all the values. This key contain all the keys. So this for each construct is used to iterate to the array elements. Here is an example. Here is this associative array. dollar name, for each dollar name as value. We have already seen the similar example. So it will be echoing the values alone. Here it is a key value retrieval. So both will be retrieving values. So this will only fetch the values 10, 20, 30 and 40. This will fetch the key as well as the values. Moving on to the sorting of arrays. We have 6 sort functions. It is more flexible than the normal arrays. We have 6 sort functions to sort through normal arrays and associative arrays. We will see one by one. Sort will sort the arrays in ascending order. R sort will sort in descending order. A sort is used to sort associative arrays in ascending order according to the value of the array element. Similarly, AR sort will does the reverse. According to the value, it will be sorted in the descending order. Descending order as per the value. And the last one is K sort. Of course, you can understand K represent keys. So this will be sorting as per the keys. We have seen in associative arrays, we can give our own keys. So K sort will sort the array in ascending order as per the keys. And KR sort, of course, is the reverse. It will be sorting the arrays in descending order according to the key, not the value. I'll show you with examples and the difference in each case. Sort function is a traditional sorting of the values of the array. The difference is that it takes array as a parameter, it sorts the values, and one more thing happens here. It replaces the keys with the numeric keys. Whatever may be the array given, it sorts the array first as per the values and it replaces the key with numeric keys 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, whatever it was previously. And R sort function does the reverse. Again, the keys will be replaced as 0, 1, 2. I'll show you an example. Suppose I have an array, as this is an associative array with index as or keys as B, A, C, E and D. Remember that the C purposefully I have given a small letter to show you the sorting. And it has got values 1, 2, 5, 4 and 3. So if I try to print these values, these are the values. Key is equal to B, value 1, A, 2, C, 5, E, 4 and D, 3. So all the keys will be printed over here. If I go for a sorting, just use the sort function as and the parameter will be given as the array name. What happens is, you can see the difference here. If you try to print the key, here this will be sorted as per the value. Sort function sort the array as per the values 1, 2. So 1 it to come first, 2, then 3, 4 and 5. This is the order. And instead of this given key values, it will be just displaying 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the difference that happens when you use a sort function. Reverse is the reverse process. So R sort of $array, again values will be sorted in the descending order and they will be given the keys in 0, 1, 2, 3 order, whatever it may be. Next one is A sort and K sort. A sort is generally used to sort associative arrays, but the difference between sort and A sort is that it keeps the original key value associations. It will not replace the keys with 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. It will keep the given key value associations. And remember that in sorting, string values will appear before numerical values. We already have seen an associative array can have a mix of string keys and numeric keys. And while we do sorting, the string values will appear before the numeric values. First, all the string values will be sorted in ABC order. Then all the numbers will be sorted in 1, 2, 3 order. The numeric values follow in the ascending order. The K-sort function will be sorting array based on keys. But here also the key value associations will be preserved. It will not replace the key as 0, 1, 2, 3. And the reverse sorts of these two will be behaving in the same manner, but it sorts in reverse order. We'll see the example to illustrate this. Same array I am using for A sort. Only difference is it will be preserving the keys. Initially, in the case of sort function, it was 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. AR sort will do the reverse. Again, the keys will not be replaced. Keys will be maintained. In case of K sort, the sorting will be done based on the keys. You can see the difference. A, B, C. C is a small letter, so that is different. So that will be sorted to the last. A, B, D, E, capital letters. This is sorting. This is according to the ASCII preference. So C will be different from capital C. So this is the sorting based on keys, and these are the corresponding values. Similarly, KR sort does the reverse operation. This is the key. These are the keys in reverse order, and these are the corresponding values. Here no change is done to the key or values. That is how sorting works in arrays.